All right, let's dive in. We're taking a closer look at all the buzz surrounding Asake and YBNL. He's been making major waves in the Afrobeat scene, dropping hits like Sungba and Peace Be Unto You.
Yeah, Asake's definitely one to watch. His rise has been incredible, especially under the wing of YBNL, the label founded by Olamide.
Right. And YBNL has a history of launching some of the biggest names in Nigerian music.
Yeah.
But recently, things have gotten a bit, well, interesting. Asake's scrubbed YBNL from his Instagram, unfollowed Olamide, and added creative director to his bio. What's the deal? Is this a power move? A rebrand? The internet is swirling with theories.
Well, in today's digital age, you can't deny that these actions are a statement.
For sure. And it's not like we're talking about some struggling artist trying to get noticed.
Asake's at the top of his game, chart-topping singles, a killer debut album, international recognition, the guy's on fire.
So this is a potential shakeup at the very top of the Afrobeat scene.
Mm.
Okay, so to understand the weight of this, let's back up a bit. When an artist hits Asake's level of success, especially after such a rapid rise, what's the typical next chapter?
There are a few common paths, though it's different for everyone, of course. Some artists leverage their success to renegotiate contracts, better terms, more creative control, bigger slice of the pie.
That makes sense. They've proven their worth, so they want a deal that reflects that.
Exactly. Others might use that momentum to branch out, starting their own label, maybe venturing into fashion or film, expanding their brands.
Go like Burna Boy with his Spaceship Collective.
Exactly. He's a prime example of building a whole empire, not just a music career. But here's where things get intriguing with Asake. His move's different. It's shrouded in this cryptic silence, no big announcements, no thank yous, no explanations, just poof, changes on his Instagram.
Is that the norm in Afrobeats? Or even the music industry in general?
Not really. Usually these transitions are much more public. Press releases, social media posts, thanking the label, wishing each other well, that sort of thing.
So this quiet, almost stealthy move from both Asake and Olamide is definitely fueling the rumor mill. It's like everyone's trying to decode these digital breadcrumbs. Before we go full conspiracy theory, I think it's crucial to understand YBNL's role in all of this, right?
Absolutely. YBNL, Olamide's creation, it's practically a kingmaker in the Afrobeat scene.
They've launched Lil Kesh, Adekunle Gold, Fireboy DML, and now Asake. That's a serious track record.
It really speaks to Olamide's knack for spotting talent and nurturing artists in those crucial early stages.
So in some ways, seeing an artist like Asake eventually move on wouldn't be a total shock, would it?
YBNL has a history of artists finding success and then branching out to forge their own paths.
But something feels different here.
Mm.
What sets this apart from those other departures from YBNL? Is it the timing, the way it's being handled, or maybe the specific challenges of going independent in the Afrobeat scene?
It's a unique situation, that's for sure. And while branching out is common, carving your own path in Afrobeats as an independent artist is a whole other ballgame. The infrastructure, the distribution network, securing funding, you need a seriously solid team for the business side of things.
So even for someone like Asake with his massive following, going it alone would be risky.
Absolutely. There are huge challenges. He'd be trading the support and structure of YBNL for, well, potentially more creative control. It's a trade-off a lot of artists struggle with.
Okay, so we've got this backdrop, Asake's meteoric rise, YBNL's track record, and the uphill battle of independence in Afrobeats. Now, let's address that elephant in the room, the creative director title. What's that all about?
It's open to interpretation, definitely. Could mean he's starting his own label, taking the reins, becoming the next Olamide.
Yeah, a mentor, a kingmaker, the next generation.
But it could also signal something broader, a move beyond music entirely. We've seen artists like Kanye West and Rihanna build empires that go way beyond music.
Right? Fashion, film, even building their own media platforms.
Yeah.
And Asake's already shown a strong sense of style and visual flair in his music videos.
Right.
It's not a stretch to imagine him branching out into those worlds.
Exactly. That creative director tag could be his way of saying, hey, I'm not just a musician, I'm a visionary, I do it all.
So we've got a few possibilities here. Asake goes all in on music, solo, he becomes the next big label head, or he builds a creative empire that goes way beyond music.
And we can't forget that classic music industry moved the publicity stunt.
True. What if this is all carefully calculated to keep his name in the headlines, generate buzz? After all, any press is good press, right?
It wouldn't be the first time an artist used a bit of mystery and controversy to their advantage.
So how do we sift through the noise? How do we figure out what's real and what's hype? Where do we even begin to untangle this web?
I think to understand this fully, we need to dive deeper into Olamide's role. He's the linchpin here.
Right, because he's not just a label head in this story. He's been a mentor to Asake, a collaborator, arguably the most influential figure in his career.
And their relationship, their shared journey, and their individual ambitions, those are key to unlocking what's really going on behind the scenes.
So let's do that. Let's unpack the Olamide factor and see what clues it holds.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We were just starting to unravel the Olamide factor.
Yeah, he's the key piece of this whole puzzle, isn't he? What's their relationship really like? It seems like more than just the typical artist and label dynamic.
It's interesting, with Olamide, it always seems to go beyond just the business side of things. He's known for being super hands-on with his artists, almost like a big brother.
Yeah, I've heard stories. Helping with the songwriting, hooking them up with producers, even just offering guidance. That doesn't seem very common for a label head, does it?
Not really, no. Most label execs, they kind of keep their distance, but Olamide, he's really invested. Invested in his artists, their success. Creatively, personally, that's been a defining characteristic of YBNL.
It's like they're a family.
It is. It's like a family vibe, a sense of loyalty you don't see that often in the industry.
So how does that fit with Asaki's exit? It seemed kind of sudden, didn't it?
Well, that's what everyone's trying to figure out. Some fans, they're convinced there was a falling out, maybe creative differences or fighting over contracts.
The internet does love a good feud.
Right. But honestly, there's no proof, no evidence of bad blood.
And looking at how Olamide handled other artists leaving YBNL, it's been pretty drama-free, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Artists like Lil Kesh, Atule Gold, they moved on to do their own thing, but it seems like everyone stayed cool.
They even still collaborate.
Exactly. So, is this just how things work in Afrobeats, this amicable separation?
Is that becoming the norm?
It's definitely happening more. The industry's maturing. Artists know their worth. They've got options.
They're not afraid to walk away.
Right. And smart label heads, like Olamide, they're adapting. They get it.
Oh, yeah.
Holding on to an artist who's outgrown the label, it does more harm than good.
It's like that saying, if you love something, set it free.
Maybe that's what Olamide's doing. Maybe he sees that Asake's ready to fly solo and he's giving him the space to do it.
It fits with what we know about him, right? Always encouraging growth.
He does. He's all about pushing his artists to evolve, find their own path.
Okay, so let's say that's it. They're splitting, but amicably. What does that tell us about Afrobeats right now? Where things are headed?
I think it shows how much the industry is changing. It's maturing. Artists, they're gaining power, more control over their careers. Labels are having to adjust.
Is this just an Afrobeats thing? Or is this happening everywhere in music?
It's happening all over, yeah. But it's really noticeable in genres like Afrobeats, Latin music, where streaming's been huge.
Streaming changed everything, didn't it?
It really did. It's given artists a way to connect with fans all over the world without needing the traditional gatekeepers.
They don't need to rely on a label to be heard anymore.
Exactly. And that shift, it changes everything. How artists approach their careers, how labels function. The whole industry's changing.
It's exciting, though, isn't it? Seeing these artists taking charge, shaping the future of music.
It is. It's a more dynamic landscape. Artists from all over the world can reach global audiences.
All right, so we've talked about the amicable split theory. But we have to at least consider the other side, right? What if it's not all sunshine and roses? What if Asake leaving isn't as smooth as it seems?
Yeah, then things could get complicated. Contract disputes are pretty common in the music world.
Especially when an artist blows up.
Right. They start thinking, hey, this deal I signed, it doesn't reflect my value anymore. Or maybe they want more control over their creative vision.
And if Asake and YBNL can't agree, things could get messy. Lawsuits, public statements, the whole drama.
Oh yeah, it could turn into a PR nightmare for everyone, damage the image of Afrobeats, the whole scene.
There's a lot at stake then.
There is. It all comes down to this, smooth sailing or a nasty breakup.
And right now, we don't know which way it's going to go.
We don't, but it shows you what's happening in the music industry, bigger than just Asake and YBNL.
Artists versus labels, creative control, it's a whole changing landscape.
And Asake's story, it's right at the heart of it.
And we can't forget the fans in all of this. How are they reacting to this drama?
Oh, social media's buzzing, theories, speculation, memes galore. It's a whole thing.
Give me the rundown. Paint me a picture of the fan reactions.
You've got your diehard Asake fans. They're excited. They see this as him leveling up, reaching for even bigger things.
They're thinking global domination.
World tours, collaborations, the whole nine yards.
They think this is just the beginning for him.
Exactly. And then you've got the YBNL loyalists, the ones who see the label as family.
They must be heartbroken.
They are.
Huh.
They're worried about Asake losing that YBNL magic, worried about conflict, what it means for the label.
It is like a family going through a divorce.
It is, and then you've got your conspiracy theorists.
Every story needs those.
They're everywhere. They're dissecting every post, every lyric, convinced this is a publicity stunt.
Probably picturing Asake and Olamide sipping champagne, laughing at us all.
And hey, maybe they're right. It's the music industry. Anything's possible.
But stunt or not, it's working. Everyone's talking.
Asake's the name on everyone's lips. That's powerful.
So 3 camps, the stans, the loyalists, the conspiracy folks. But what about the casual listener? The one who's not so deep in the drama? What should they take away from this?
I think it shows you what's happening across the industry. It's not just about one artist and one label.
It's about artists taking control.
Labels having to adapt, the lines between music, fashion, film, it's all blurring.
You're seeing a whole new way music is being made, shared, sold.
And Asake's story, it's right at the center of it all.
This is just the beginning. Things are going to get even more interesting.
Yeah.
We've been on quite the journey, haven't we? Unpacking this Asake and YBNL situation.
Lots of layers to peel back, that's for sure. The history, the potential split, what it means for the industry, even those fan theories, right?
But now, time to look ahead. What's next?
What could happen? And how does this shape the future of Afrobeats as a whole?
Let's start with Asake. Let's say he is going independent. What's out there for him? What does he need to watch out for?
Well, the guy's got a massive following. That's a big plus. Dedicated fans, they're going to follow him.
Solid foundation to build on, but it takes more than just hype to make it long-term.
Oh, for sure. But Asake, he's got global appeal, and Afrobeats is blowing up internationally. Perfect timing.
So are we talking collaborations with big international names, festival appearances?
Could be, but he'll need a strong team. The international scene, it's a whole different ballgame. Distribution, marketing, touring, it's a lot.
Big potential, but could be a mess if it's not handled right.
Exactly. And that creative director thing, it could mean branching out beyond music.
Like Rihanna with Fenty, a whole empire.
Asake could do that, you know? His style, the visuals, he could do a clothing line, design, even film and TV.
A cultural icon influencing everything, not just music.
Yeah, but that comes with its own challenges, different skills, different partnerships, a whole new world.
Lots of possibilities, but lots of obstacles too.
Now, what about YBNL? What do they do now? Find a new star to replace Asake.
Maybe it's a chance to reinvent themselves.
They've got a reputation, the star-making machine. They could easily just find the next Asake and keep going.
The system's there, the connections, the experience.
But maybe this is a moment to shift gears. Instead of solo artists, maybe they develop groups, collectives.
Like a music family working together, supporting each other under the YBNL umbrella.
That's a model that's gaining popularity. Artists keep their independence, but have the support of the label.
Or maybe they focus on who they already have. Build up artists like Fireboy DML even more.
Help them reach their full potential, solidify their place, take them global.
So many options for YBNL. Stick with what works, try something new, or double down on their current artists.
And Olamide, can't forget about him. He's the heart of it all.
He built YBNL, made it what it is. What does this mean for him, for his legacy?
It could be a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
If it's a clean break with Asake, it shows he's not just about holding on. He's about helping his artists grow, even if that means they move on.
He's not just building a label, he's empowering artists.
Right, and this could free him up, do other things, producing, developing new talent behind the scenes, even making more of his own music.
No matter what, Olamide's impact is undeniable.
A true leader, a visionary, a champion for African music. His influence will be felt for a long time.
So as we wrap up, what's the big question? What are you watching for as this story plays out?
The artist label dynamic, that's the big one for me. Is the old way of doing things over? Or can labels evolve, give artists more freedom, more control?
That's bigger than just Asake and YBNL. That's the whole industry figuring itself out.
And how that plays out, it'll change how we make music, market music, everything.
So to everyone listening, pay attention. Watch how the power shifts.
Who's making the decisions, who's working together, who's pushing the boundaries.
The future of music, it's happening right now.
And it's going to be an exciting ride.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.